composite images, that's generally not the case. Though around fast-developing weather, you may occasionally see lightning strikes before strong precipitation shows up on your screen. Keep in mind that data link only displays cloud-to-ground lightning. Storm scopes also show cloud-to-cloud strikes, which may provide an earlier warning in some situations. Other information that can be helpful includes echotops, which can help tell whether you're looking at convective weather, and storm direction tracks to help you steer clear. There's also the normal complement of airmets, sigmets, METARs, TAFs, and other forecast products. The bottom line is know what your avionics system shows you, and remember that you can't rely on radar alone in every situation. Indianapolis, Indiana to Columbus, Ohio, a distance of about 150 miles, or roughly an hour and 15 minutes. It's mid-July, and we'll plan to depart at 1:30 p.m. So what do we know? An afternoon flight in the Midwest during the summer means the major weather hazard will be convective activity. Knowing
with a 40% probability of thunderstorms and rain. Wind out of 190 at 15 with gusts to 30 knots during that period. At your destination, Columbus is showing almost exactly the same thing. Cumulonimbus tops are going to be up around 35,000 feet.
It would be better to leave in the morning, but we have a schedule to consider, so we stick with a 1:30 p.m. departure. Strikes either. Zooming out, though, we can see a few popcorn cells starting to show up in southern Ohio. 20 minutes later, we're coming up on Dayton. Some of those cumulus clouds are building fast now and looking dark. We'll definitely want to avoid them because it's sure to be rough inside. Problem is, the gaps between buildups are getting smaller, and it's getting tougher to stay visual. It's a tall, mean-looking cell ahead, south of the city. The text weather METAR at OSU is reporting scattered clouds at 3,000 feet, with light southerly winds and lightning southwest of the field. But the TAF has been updated to call for thunderstorms and heavy rain starting half an hour from now. On radar, the cell sticks out like a sore thumb about 20 miles south of Columbus. The lightning overlay shows lots of cloud-to-ground strikes, and the precipitation gradient is very compressed, a sure sign of severe weather. Echotops are above 30,000. The storm track shows the cell heading for the city at over 20 knots. It's time to look for an alternate. Fortunately, the Urbana airport, India 74, is a few minutes away, and it's still in the clear, so we divert there instead. We didn't make Columbus, but the flight was a success. Why? We knew ahead of time the kind of weather to expect in the afternoon and still chose to fly then, but acknowledged there was a certain risk in doing so. Knowing the risks, we were careful to look for signs of change. Data link helped greatly from a strategic standpoint, but we also paid attention to other clues, like the developing clouds and other aircraft diverting around cells. To review, here are a few key points. First, data link won't make an unflyable situation flyable. Don't jump in the airplane and count on it to steer you through anything that's out there. With all the weather information available these days, you should have a very good idea if the flight is viable as planned before ever climbing in the cockpit. Severe weather. That means a hole between storms needs to be at least 40 miles across. It also means staying out of the lighter precip around the edges of the storm. Lastly, in the context of a lifetime of flying, a short weather delay isn't a big deal. If you really need to be somewhere, have an alternate means of transportation. And if you're faced with a line of storms, land, tie down, and relax. Odds are in a couple of hours you'll be able to complete the flight easily and safely.